rolls through, palm trees swaying, skies clear and blue. Toes in the sand, bowl in our hand, living easy, life feels so grand. Love, regret the gift, we take it slow. The coast where good vibes always flow. Kicking back under skies so wide, in this tropical dream we let joy reside. Toes in the sand, ball in our hand, we drift away, life's perfectly planned. Jazz in the air, waves kiss the shore. In the cove we couldn't ask for more. Toes in the sand, ball in our hand, with every puff we understand. The world fades away in this peaceful land. Toes in the sand, ball in our hand. Mango skies turn to golden light, another day that feels just right. Smoking slow as the moments pass, each hit smooth like sea over glass. Feel the rhythm, let troubles go. In the cove we find our flow, laughter and love in every spark, living bright till it gets dark. Toes in the sand, ball in our hand, we drift away, life's perfectly planned. Jazz in the air, waves kiss the shore. In the cove we couldn't ask for more. Toes in the sand, ball in our hand, with every puff we understand. The world fades away in this peaceful land. Toes in the sand. Mango skies turn to golden light, another day that feels just right. Smoking slow as the moments pass, each hit smooth like sea over glass. Feel the rhythm, let troubles go. In the cove we find our flow, laughter and love in every spark, living bright till it gets dark. Toes in the sand, ball in our hand, we drift away, life's perfectly planned. Jazz in the air, waves kiss the shore. In the cove we couldn't ask for more. Toes in the sand, ball in our hand, with every puff we understand. Oh, every puff we understand. The world fades away in this peaceful land. Toes in the sand.
Wake up, tune in, it's a brand new day. Cove-TV's here, come on, let's play. With coffee in hand and good vibes too, cannabis and community, all just for you. Cove, we're your TV, the place to be for good times naturally. Game shows and laughs with the crew, Cove-TV's got it all, and it's all for you. Afternoon rolls in, it's time to chill. Marbles and ducks, the excitement's real. From shit to hanging till dark, Cove-TV's where the fun leaves a mark. C-O-V-E, we're your TV, the place to be for bedtimes naturally. Game shows and laughs with the crew, Cove-TV's got it all, and it's all for you. As evening falls, the energy's high. Dodgeball games and words that fly. Real word, fake word, and stoner roulette. Cove-TV brings the fun you won't forget. C-O-V-E, we're your TV, the place to be for bedtimes naturally. Game shows and laughs with the crew, Cove-TV's got it all, and it's all for you. Weekend arrives, it's time to unwind. Recaps and races, the best you'll find. From Toke race into friendly fights. Cove TV makes your weekend bright. Cove, we're your TV, the place to be for good times naturally. Game shows and laughs with the crew. Cove TV's got it all, and it's all for you. So light up, relax, let the good vibes flow. With Cove TV, there's always more to show. From morning to night, we're here to stay, bringing you the best every single day. Cove, we're your TV, the place to be for good times naturally. Game shows and laughs with the crew. Cove TV's got it all, and it's all for you.
It's a brand new day. Cove TV's here to brighten your way. Coffee brews, the rhythm feels right. Spark your morning, let's take flight. Feel the buzz, let the energy ignite. We're your crew, bringing morning delight. So grab your cup and let it flow. Cove TV morning, let's start the show. Coming up next is the show you know. Cove TV morning where good vibes grow. Hit that like, don't forget to share. Wake the world, let's go anywhere. To the mellow groove, we're here together, finding our move. Conversations flow, hearts align. Cove TV morning where moments shine. Whether you're near or miles away, we're the start of a beautiful day. Roll it up, sip it slow. Cove TV morning, let's start the show. Your head, let the good vibes rain. Cove TV's magic, ease in the strain. Every laugh, every note we play reminds us all it's a brand new day. Coming up next is the show you know. Cove TV morning where good vibes grow. Hit that like, don't forget to share. Wake the world, let's go anywhere. Vibes rain, Cove TV's magic, ease in the strain. Every laugh, every note we play reminds us all it's a brand new day. Cove TV morning, your start, your glow with coffee, connection, and stories to show. Thanks for joining, we're glad to know. Cove TV morning, let's start the show.
Dab time. Dab time. Dab time.
Hashtag let's fucking go.
Push the goddamn button.
Push the goddamn button. totally terrific Twisted Titty Tie-Dye Turpy Taco Toke N Tunes Tuesday, yo. How's everybody's morning going? What up, Man-Bear?
That was good. That was like a 10, man. That was nice. You in practice?
I got to practice, man. Cops whooped my ass last week. I got to get him back this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you, man. You know I'm rooting for you, but not till 6 p.m. Western time.
Cheers, everybody. I hope everybody's off to a wonderful start to their Tuesday.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah.
Nope.
No, not a good one.
Good morning, my most amazing, beautiful Amber. How are you? You are having a wonderful morning.
Good morning, D. How are you doing this morning?
What is up, Deb? Good morning. Hope you're having a wonderful morning.
Good morning, Crystal. How are you doing?
Good morning, Kay. Hope you're doing better today, dear. Hope you're having a wonderful day.
Good morning, Vicki. How are you doing? And Toke N Tunes Tuesday.
Good morning, Fabi. How are you? I hope you are having a wonderful morning.
Good morning, CJ. How are you doing?
Good morning, DJ Ash. How are you? I hope you are having a wonderful morning.
Good morning, Bill. Hope you're well.
Good morning, Christina. How are you? I hope you are having a wonderful morning.
Good morning, Frank. What's going on, man?
All right. I hope everybody's off to a wonderful start to their Tuesday morning. Should we do the wake and bake thing?
The thing and the thing? The thing and thing?
Cheers, everybody.
The morning's here, the horizon glows. With every comment, a connection grows. Coffee steam rises, a comforting sight. Your smiles, your vibes make the day feel right. The Cove awakens, together we shine. Each of you here is a blessing divine. Cannabis sparks and the laughter flows. In this sunrise moment, the magic shows. Wake up with you, it's a beautiful start. The Cove's a place that's close to my heart. Each voice, each laugh, a melody true. Sunrise sessions wouldn't shine without you. Through every dawn, we've built this bond. A family of light, stretching far and beyond. Rolling the herb, sharing the brew. Moments like this feel sacred with you. The rhythm of life, gentle and kind, echoes in hearts with peace intertwined. Together we stand as the morning breaks. A sunrise with you is all it takes. Wake up with you, it's a beautiful start. The Cove's a place that's close to my heart. Each voice, each laugh, a melody true. Sunrise sessions wouldn't shine without you. Wake up with you, it's a beautiful start. The Cove's a place that's close to my heart. Each voice, each laugh, a melody true. Sunrise sessions wouldn't shine without you. Every smile you share, every story told, a treasure we hold, more precious than gold. You lift the light you, it's a beautiful start. Cove's a place that's close to my heart. Each voice, each laugh, a melody true. Sunrise sessions wouldn't shine without you.
Good morning, Brittany. How are you? I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful morning. Much love, Bill. Keep your head up, brother. We got you.
Yeah.
You got this, man.
Man, I can't imagine what you're going through, Bill, but I do know that you're surrounded by loved ones, not just us. I mean, directly surrounded by you. So I do know you guys will figure this out together, and we're always here for you. This is definitely a safe place. So
Absolutely.
love you, Bill. Yeah.
If you have not dropped your Getting Stoned word, please do. We got Amber with Getting, D with Stoned, Deb with Again, Crystal with, Kay with My, Vicki with Only, and Fabi with Friends. What has everybody got going on for their Tuesday of Toke N Tunes?
Not much. I'm actually looking pretty forward to it. I think this is, again, I say it every month, one of our better lists of Toke N Tunes. But
I'm so excited, man. Europe had a lot of songs played. Coffee has had a lot of songs played.
I know. You were thinking the same thing. I was thinking.
We're just kind of chilling, just waiting for our turn.
I know. We're like, where's my song? You know what's really funny is I can sing songs I've never heard before, and that's my secret. People are like, it's got to be Man-Bear. I'm like, no, I just listen to the song and then sing it back.
Or even if it's like not my song.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, I'm singing All Star by Smash Mouth. I don't give a fuck.
Oh my god,
to that song.
If it was or wasn't, I'm singing that shit.
Right. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, man. That's like putting on Song 2 by Blur back in the day. I used to sing that, and there's almost no lyrics to it.
All right, our morning update for Tuesday, February 18th, 20-something or another. It is Toke N Tunes Tuesday, everybody, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Do not miss out. We are getting down on our playlist. Coffee held the first week of February. Europe got the second week. We'll see who will take week 3. We will do our This Day in History coming up here a little bit. We'll do, I believe we're in chapter 4 of the Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I'm still waiting to hear on work today, but I'm guessing because it wasn't this cold last week and I didn't work, she's probably not going to have me with this. But I don't know. I'm going to text her here in a little bit and we'll see how that goes. Chilling in the Cove this afternoon, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to do some Guardians of Unity, some hanging out, some getting high, all that fun stuff. And then, yes, tonight is the one and the only totally terrific Twisted Titty Tie-Dye Turkey Taco Toke N Tunes Tuesday. So make sure you do not miss out. Make sure you are tuning in and dropping that Toke N Tunes hashtag for a chance to pick a song. Great movie show last night. Fucking awesome shows. They did TV shows and movies. And it was very cool. Kasi did Arrow, the CW's version of Arrow, which is the Green Arrow show. And the Simpsons movie. Man-Bear did The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yes, such a classic movie. And the movie Kids, which I've not seen, but it sounds very good, and I'm definitely looking into it. And then Magic did the movie Natural Born Killers with Woody Harrelson. I've seen parts of it, but I would not sit and say that like I've seen that movie. And then did the show Dexter, which I have no clue about Dexter. And then he does have his announcement last night. In 13 days, what would be the next Magic's Mad Movie Monday, will be an amazing interview with Danny Boone from Rehab. I really hope I'm not getting that name wrong. I do know. I can't remember the last name for sure. But very excited. Please don't miss out on that. Rehab is such a dope band. I listened to so much of their music when I was younger. Hey, thank you, Annis. Yeah, so I'm very, very excited for it. We are 2 minutes out, everybody. Make sure you are packing up, loading up, rolling up, heating up, warming up, copying up. Tuesday morning, yup. Dope. What does everybody else got going on for their Tuesday? Other than that, it's going to be a pretty chill day, a pretty chilly day. It feels like -40 out. It's craziness. It's too cold. It's too cold. It's been a pretty good day so far. It's been kind of hanging out. Slept in a little bit this morning. I don't know what the fuck that thing that was just floated down the deal, but that was interesting to see. Yeah, it's crazy. The normal feel is negative 18. I've got negative 19 on my thermometer, but the feels like is it's a little chilly. Hey, we have entered our first final countdown. See, I mean, the Mogs is just going to be hanging out inside for a little bit today. Hey, good morning, Sunshine State. Let's go, Gators. Let's go. Bro, we're killing it at basketball. Number 2. I want to say, I think it'll, I don't remember if it was AP or the coaches or whatever it was, but I did see that they were ranking Florida pretty much at number 2. So let's fucking go. March Madness basketball is the shit. Dang it, Fabi, you got me by 1 degree? That's a bunch of bullshit. Well, it feels like you got me by 1 degree. Well, I hope you have a wonderful night at work, Brittany. Please be safe out there as always. But you've been doing that shit forever, so ain't nothing new to you. Still be safe, though. Always, always, of course. Happy 420, everybody!
Smoke weed every day.
And twice on Tuesdays. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Oh, much love, Ames. I'm at your nose dabs for the amazing beans and doing nose dab for the amazing yams.
He's got it. Go, go, go. So,
It's all yours, Man-Bear.
on a bit of good news, I was hired by Wendy's. I do start training tomorrow morning. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited. I haven't worked in a year or so. So, yeah, you're good.
Let's fucking go. Sorry.
Yeah, he's good. He's going to go back to coughing now. So, yeah, I start my new job tomorrow. I'll start training for my job tomorrow. Yeah, it's decent wage. Actually, minimum wage in Canada is not too bad now. So, I'm pretty pumped. It's going to be a good day tomorrow. And it's a brand new restaurant, so I'm going to be one of the first cooks at this place, which is kind of cool. I've always eaten there, man. I've been eating at a Wendy's since I was probably like 2 or 3 years old for real. So I'm pretty pumped, actually. Yeah.
Did you know Dave Thomas he had more than just one daughter?
Yeah.
Wendy's is based off of his youngest daughter.
Yeah.
How do you know the other daughter spelled?
Yeah, I know. Like, yeah, it's like, can you name something after us? Like, you're not even Canadian.
It's fine, Dad. We know Wendy's your favorite. Well, she's not my favorite. You gave her restaurants.
It's like, you both have hunchbacks. I couldn't put you on a sign. I'm so sorry. You know.
Where's Freddy's fucking Wendy's at?
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, Ronald McDonald's and like, you know, all the costumes that in the 80s really freaked a lot of kids out, man. I'm just saying, like, big scary redheaded clown yelling happy birthday at you. I'm just saying.
Did you know that McDonald's was not the first fast food restaurant?
No, it wasn't.
Do you know what it is?
No.
It's In-N-Out Burger.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then I want to say McDonald's was like second or third.
We have, where I grew up was one of the first McDonald's in Canada, actually, on number 3 Road in Richmond. And it had one of the original, like, I want to say like late 80s, 90s playgrounds. There was like a rock climbing wall that was like a big cave, and there was big metal slides that you either burnt yourself on from the sun or you weren't slippery enough, so you went
see, like
all the
my
way
biggest
down.
Paranoia with the ball pits and stuff growing up was I always heard of like people throwing dirty heroin needles. Bro, I was like 7 or 8, and I was afraid I was gonna get stuck with a fucking needle or something, bro.
I mean, I'm sure it happened, but probably rare. But yeah, I get what you're saying. You know,
think
like
the most that really happened was kids pissed or shit in there. But like,
yeah, I mean, and like Chuck E. Cheese was the shit back in the day. I spent my 7th birthday at Chuck E. Cheese, and I said 7th. That's right. You know, that was like 34 years ago, and I still remember every little thing about it. Thank you so much, everybody. I am so pumped. It's been so long since I've had like steady. I know.
Hey, good morning, Sandra. Hope you're having a wonderful morning. Hopefully the appointment's just like a checkup and just like a normal lifting and not something like bad. I don't know how I could order.
I just stopped going to the doctor and smoke weed, so that's it's not a cure. It's just what I do.
Yeah, right, but you're so old. You're so old. Just wait till you're like 90, bitch, and then you're gonna have to go to the doctor, you motherfucker.
Oh, if I live to 90, man, y'all gonna be laughing so hard. Oh my god, we telling the same jokes, only being 90-year-old.
Bro, when I was 18, we used to skateboard in Vancouver.
Yeah, man. Like, man, I used to skateboard down bridges. Now you all wearing helmets and shit.
You're all like hoverboarding and shit.
Yeah.
That is dope, though, man. Fucking.
Yeah. No, I'm pumped, man. Fucking, yeah.
We all know you've been trying and stressing a little bit, and
yeah, you know, and like it's hard because like I get it, man. There's a lot of, I'm gonna say it's probably undesirable people that they really just don't and want to hire and can't hire, you know, like, and so I get it. It's hard for employers. Plus, I'm pretty sure this is all new people coming into town. It's a new restaurant, new people. Thank you so much, everybody. You know, you guys, you know, the other day just give me some positivity. You know, the minute of positivity was absolutely don't push me forward to, you know, it's hard to find a safe place, and I don't just mean on social media. I mean anywhere, man. You know, it's hard to
step back from the toxic people in our lives, because there's always somebody. There's always somebody who's like a hater or a downer or a black pillar, you know, or someone who's like kind of doubting.
I had to flip my whole perspective on that over the past few years on like, so everybody's gonna, you know, like you'll always have that one person who doesn't like you. You'll always have that person who like hates your shit or whatever. Yeah. Like as shittily as it is, like that is their right to think.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like not everybody likes everybody, and like it sucks. I wish that person maybe would not think shittily of me, but I mean, it is their freedom of fucking right of opinion to have that opinion on me.
You know,
whether
what I've discovered, a lot of it is jealousy, because some things, without my own power or whatever, some things do come easy to me. And I don't mean like weed or whatever. I just think some things just are naturally easy to me, and other people they're not. So when they see how easy I go through certain, they're like, how did you do that? And I'm like, I don't know. I just, you know, like, how did you know how to do that? I don't know. I've been doing it for 25 years. You know, like my ADD made me good at certain things. I'm not like, you know, a jack of all trades, but certain things I just know because you ADD'd on certain things, and you know. Good morning.
How are you, dear? Hope you're having a wonderful morning.
Yeah.
If you have not heard, tell her, Man-Bear.
I got hired at Wendy's. I start tomorrow.
That job, Ma. That's so dope.
Brand new restaurant. Like, I mean, they haven't. It's just never been open, so I'm one of the first cooks too. So that's cool.
I feel like it's not as many. Like people don't say it as much as they should these days, and I definitely say that we're all fucking proud of you, Man-Bear.
Thank you, man. It's gonna be great.
Graduation's Ma, so proud.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, and you know what? Like we literally just acquired a vehicle, which, you know, it's kind of thank you so much. You know, it's we just got a vehicle so I can get there. You know, I don't drive, but my wife does, and that was the one thing kind of holding us back, is we didn't have a vehicle, and it's like we couldn't get around, and you couldn't even get to Walmart, which sucks because I love the other grocery stores, but their prices can't match Walmart's. I'm sorry. I love you, Walmart. You're great. It's true.
Fuck, I'm trying to remember who.
He's trying to brain his brain right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who Sam Walton got his concepts from and started.
Well, okay, so.
And I feel like it might have been.
I think he went out to a store to get something, right? Then he came home and he went out to a different store to get something else. Then he came home and he's like, man, why isn't there a store I can go to where I can get my tires, my milk, my this, my that? You know what I mean? He's saying that there was not too many stores where it was everything, right? Thank you so much. It's, you know what I mean? Like it's something that you don't see until you start experiencing it. He was a normal person going, hey, I got an idea. And everyone's like, what? He's like, one store, not four. So awesome. Yeah, I know. I'm pumped. You know, it's, I'm nervous, but I'm excited too. You know, nervous excitement, whatever you want to call it, you know?
Yeah, nerve excitement.
Yeah, nerve excitement. Yeah. And I have serious like work anxiety before I start jobs, man. I'm up like 3 hours early, like, is it going to be time yet? And then I sit there on Facebook, just like super mad, scrolling, like, waste my time. Facebook, wait, Netflix wastes time. Good. Oh, I'll go back to Netflix. But yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be so. There might be some morning shows. Man-Bear's not here, or some afternoon shows, or whatever. But it's a good thing, man. We're all super happy for you, bro.
I know. I don't know my shift yet. I only know that definitely miss the afternoon show tomorrow because I'll be there. Yeah. So yeah, because I'm training like 5.5 hours tomorrow, I think, which is great. Hopefully, I honestly hope I'm like the deep fryer cook. I rock the deep fryer. Don't ask me why.
It's a good place to start too.
Yeah. I figure some of the assistant managers will probably start on like burgers and stuff, even though they don't have anything too complicated.
No.
Although their menu is pretty extensive. I was looking at the menu and I was like, what's a frosty chino? And they're like, it's like a Kappa Frappa milkshake, a coffee thing. And I'm like, I want that. I'm like, yeah.
2 of those.
Yeah. Like, I'll work here for $1 less if I can have one of those free every single day.
All right, yeah. We'll play a song and we'll dive into our This Day in History. Here we go.
The sun creeps up, painting skies in gold. The Cove awakens, a story to be told. Feel the sand in beneath, so soft, so warm. A tranquil escape where peace is born. Music flows like the morning tide, a rhythm rhythm of life we can't hide. Roll it up, let the good vibe show. A spark of bliss in the soft dawn glow. We're dancing in the dawn where the world feels alive. With every step the music lets us thrive. The touch of the sand, the rhythm so free. Moments like this are all we need. Inhale the calm, let it fill your soul. Exhale the world, let the good vibes roll. The cove and the sea, they call our song. Dancing in the dawn where we belong. Morning light reflects on the water's face. At the cove we found our sacred space. Roll the green, let the clouds drift high. A moment of magic beneath the sky. Time slows down as the day takes hold. The cove, our temple, the sunrise gold. Feel the rhythm, let the music play. A celebration of life in every way. We're dancing in the dawn where the world feels alive. With every step, the music lets us thrive. The touch of the sand, the rhythm so free. Moments like this are all we need. Inhale the calm, let it fill your soul. Exhale the world, let the good vibes roll. The cove and the sea, they call our song. Dancing in the dawn where we belong. We're dancing in the dawn where the world feels alive. With every step, the music lets us thrive. The touch of the sand, the rhythm so free. Moments like this are all we need. Inhale the calm, let it fill your soul. Exhale the world, let the good vibes roll. The cold and the sea, they call our song. Dancing in the dawn where we belong.
All right, everybody. We got this day in history with the one and only Vicki Bowers. Here we go.
Welcome back. Today, in pushback against the bitter cold winter that's going on out there, I found us this cozy living room with a fireplace. Today, we'll look at a word that we hear all the time these days. We'll take a look at an artist proficient in more than one medium, as many of them are actually. A story that children of every generation might enjoy. A song that came about by happenstance, and a quote. So grab your favorite cuppa. This aqua cup doesn't survive very well against the green screen. My favorite cuppa, by the way, is usually either a Colombian or Pacific medium roast black. What's yours? In any case, grab yours, sit back, and let's have a look. Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for February 18th. February 18th is the 49th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, With 316 days remaining to the end of the year, 317 in leap years. Today's word is algorithm. Algorithm is a noun that refers to a finite sequence of well-defined instructions for problem solving, completing a task, or performing a computation. Algorithms are often used in computer programming, mathematics, and decision-making processes. Some example sentences could be, the social media platform uses a complex algorithm to recommend content based on user preferences, or computer scientists aim to design efficient algorithms to improve search engine performance, or the teacher explained the Euclidean algorithm for calculating the greatest common divisor of two numbers. Who knew such a thing existed? But it does. I looked it up. The word algorithm comes from the name of a Persian astronomer and mathematician, Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi, who lived around 780 to 850. He wrote many texts, including a foundational text on algebra. A related word, also named after al-Khwarizmi, is algorithm, which is an Arabic system of numeration. By the way, I learned back in grade school that these numbers that we use, 1, 2, 3, and so on, these are Arabic numerals. The Arabic numbering and counting system is based on tens, also known as the decimal system, as compared to a duodecimal system, which is based on 12s. I think maybe they're not teaching that much anymore, but maybe they should. First known use of the word algorithm is most likely around the 1230s, not 1230 o'clock, but the 1230 year mark in terms of arithmetic procedures. Use of the word algorithm in the broader, more modern sense of a step-by-step computational process comes along with the advent of computer science, so the context in which we usually hear it now is fairly recent. By the way, given that the word algorithm refers to a finite sequence of well-defined instructions for solving a problem, you can think of such things as following a recipe, or tying your shoes, or solving a Rubik's Cube as ways of using algorithms, since all of these rely on a finite sequence of well-defined instructions for solving a problem. Algorithm. Today's word algorithm was requested by YouTube viewer at ddally8851. Thanks, ddally. And if you have a word you'd like to find out about, drop it in the comments. We'll dig it up. And with that, this is the birthday of Louis Comfort Tiffany, born February 18th, 1848. He's known as a stained glass artist, but he started out as a painter. You can definitely see the painterly influences in his stained glass work. Lovely work. Mr. Tiffany lived to the age of 84. On February 18th, 1885, Mark Twain published The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Huck Finn first appeared in the book The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Tom and Huck were a couple of adolescent-aged boys in the mid-1800s. Quite the adventurers, those two. Definitely worth the read. Ray Charles was on the road touring in the mid to late 1950s. He was contractually obligated to play a 4-hour show. One evening, late in 1958, they got done, ran out of songs about 12 minutes short of the 4-hour mark. So he improvised, playing, singing, whatever fell out of his mouth, and oh my goodness, the crowd loved it. This was the beginning of the song What'd I Say? He began to play it in other concerts after that, and everybody loved it. They loved it so much that he called up the recording company and said, "We need to record this. I sing it when I'm out on tour and people are going crazy over it." So they did. Got in the studio and recorded it. He'd already enjoyed some success in the R&B genre and had been touring since 1954. But What I Say was the magic tickle-lock that broke him into mainstream pop. Netted him his first gold record, What I Say by Ray Charles. Link in the description. Never a dull moment here in the Bowers Research Office, but plenty of fascinating rabbit holes. While I was researching today's word algorithm, I came across a quote by a writer named Alexander Gelfand. I decided to look him up, and the first thing I found was a Soviet mathematician named Alexander Gelfand. A mathematician talking about algorithms certainly seemed plausible, but Soviet mathematician Alexander Gelfand lived from 1906 to 1968. And the quote was from an article published in 2007, well after his time. So I thought, well, Soviet mathematician Alexander Gelfand might have considered such a question if it had been a thing during his lifetime, but he probably didn't say this. So I kept looking, and sure enough, there's a writer named Alexander Gelfand. Alexander Gelfand. Good writer, quite prolific. I put a link to his website in the description. Here's the quote now. If you teach a computer to write a piece of music by feeding it an algorithm, have you composed the resulting piece, or has the computer? Alexander Gelfand. A lot of work being done by AI these days, and I think there are arguments for both sides of the question that he poses, but I'll leave it there for now. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Have a great day, stay as warm as you can, and I'll see you tomorrow. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That playlist lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page. It's called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.
Much love, Vicki. She was saying yesterday that her Odyssey viewers went from like 8 to like 73. She says thank you because she feels like it's a lot of the Cove viewers.
Nice.
That's so dope. Like, well, I fucking said everybody should be following Vicki Bowers on all platforms.
Yeah.
From Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey, and Facebook, and YouTube. We super duper appreciate this day in history every morning, and I hope you're having a wonderful, warm, staying warm type of a day.
Over there. It's over there. It's over there.
Wish I could move it over there and just like pop it all around.
Yeah. Future streamer. Yeah, that's when we build our own platform streaming service.
There are stuff that's just so not user friendly, not at all. It's hard.
I like your sunrise, Beans. It's nice.
Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right, let's play a quick song and we'll see where we're at with our morning. Let's go with this one. Cheers, everybody. Oh, where'd it go?
Strike the flame, let the ember ignite. A spark of truth in the heart of the night. Rolling waves meet the sky so wide. In the cove where we let the world collide. Pass it around, let the moment stay. The cove's a beacon, lighting the way. Every puff, a connection is born. Through the smoke, we weather the storm. The ritual's here, a bond so tight. Rolling together under soft starlight. The fire burns, it warms our soul. In the cove we all feel whole. Light the way, let the spark take flight. Take flight. Through the haze, watch the magic glow. A ritual only the Cove will know. From bongs to blunts, it's all the same. The spark unites us, it's not a game. Sip your coffee, feel the rise. The morning haze meets golden skies. Cannabis clouds float high above. The Cove is a haven of light and love. Hand to hand, the circle flows. A place where only good vibes grow. Feel the rhythm, let it stay. Together in the Cove, we light the way. Light the way. Let the spark take flight. Take flight. Through the haze, we shine so bright. Cannabis skies, where hearts align. Light the way. It's our time to unwind. The way, let the spark take flight. Take flight. Through the haze, we shine so bright. Cannabis skies, where hearts align. Light the way, it's our time to
Love that song. Such a good jam. Yeah, I love chicken pasta. My wife makes this homemade chicken pasta, and I'll give you the secret. It's to make the sauce or the pasta sauce to go with it. You use cream of mushroom soup and cheddar cheese soup, and then it's just some kind of chicken and pasta, and it's so good. Why are leftovers so freaking much better? Okay, there we go.
Depends
Yeah.
on the leftovers.
I don't know, man. If it's pasta, though, the sauce is always soaked in. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Pasta leftovers are just. I went to Winnipeg, quick story, and my grandma's older cousin made spaghetti, like homemade. We ate it every day for like 7 days, and the seventh day, the sauce was like almost a perfume. It smelled so good. You know what I mean? Like, not in a perfume, but you know what I mean? It was so
Right.
good. Like, yeah.
Damn. Yeah, I feel like goulash, lasagna, stuff like that is so much better leftover.
I love cold lasagna. I love cold lasagna in the morning. I don't know what it is. It doesn't fall apart. Like, you know what I mean? Same as it's like a cold pizza in the morning. Cold pizza's the shit. Yeah.
Cold pizza's all right, but it's nothing like hot pizza.
It's got to be the right pizza. I'm telling you now. I'm not eating day old taco pizza. I don't do that shit. Okay.
So what does everybody got going on for their day today? Depends on the leftovers, absolutely.
Yeah, because I seen the middle of the USA like map on Facebook and other things, and some guys like, yeah, stay inside. Don't go to work. Don't go to school. We all hitting the minuses in places that don't even minus that minus to minus. And I'm like, yeah, that made a lot of sense. Y'all's getting more minus than we are.
Wild, dude.
Yeah. I swear, I looked at the map and it's kind of missing us. Like, we're getting the cold, but we're not getting what you guys are getting. There's no way. We'd have like, I don't know. I think we're actually at like, I don't know. My freaking temperature thing's all. I think it's 1 degree Fahrenheit. Maybe. No, it's not 1 degree Celsius. It's definitely 1 degree Fahrenheit. Yeah, that makes more sense.
So yeah, this is the cold snap.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, the hot. Yeah, right. Like what? Isn't the purple the bad one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the green is good, and purple is not good.
Yeah. Like what? Like there was like one that I think it was like minus 43 Fahrenheit. Like we're still getting it. See, I'm still in the blue. See if you can just see me off to the left there. Yeah, or whatever.
Huh? Prince Rupert. That's where Man-Bear lives.
No, not at all. Oh my god, I didn't even think of that. That's fucking hilarious, though. That's really high up north for me, but yeah, that's actually like 3 or 4 hours away from me at least. I think. Prince
Why
George.
is the Minnesota area the same color as this area? That's not right. I want it to be orange, like this area.
Yeah, that's like warmness, right? The orange is the good, right?
That's like legit warmth.
Yeah,
That's
we
in
still
the
got that
70s.
light blue color going in, but yeah, it's interesting.
So, like pure white, I guess, is supposed to be like 120 something. So, like the rest of the world is on fire.
Yeah, or they're just not giving it to you.
Yeah, it's just not registering. It's either one of the two.
Yeah,
It's a
but
toss-up.
yeah, Weather
it's
Channel,
how cold it is in
awesome,
Duluth.
dude. Literally, freaking. There's an episode of that 70s show where Hyde stole a cable from Red, and he's running it downstairs, and then Red controls the channel, turns on the Weather Network, and Hyde's like, "Oh, this sucks," and then he gets really baked, and he's like, "Weather Channel's fucking awesome!" Just starts laughing. It's Duluth. It's cold but sunny.
It's so cold up there.
Yeah, but it looks cool. That would have been an okay cam this morning. That actually would have been okay. I hate to say that, but with the winter sunrise, if it wasn't cloudy,
probably good too.
Did you say Laverne or Duluth?
Duluth.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful though, man.
It's cold,
but it's beautiful cold.
Yeah.
Like Frozen the movie cold. I mean, the story, not the actual movie.
Dude, that wasn't that bad of a movie.
It could have been better. Aren't they making like number 3 now or something? Like, aren't they going to run out of stories? Like,
I guess I've only seen the first one.
You're not telling me they didn't run out of stories with all 8 Shreks they made or whatever?
Or 23 Fast and the Furious movies, and they were launching cars into space and
yeah, that one kind of before the space ones, it was good up until then. And I hate to say it, the Shaw and Hobbs spinoffs was where they should have kept it going with the Rock and Jason Statham. That was some good shit.
Family.
I'm sorry, I love the Fast and Furious for the cars alone, just the cars, just the cars.
Yeah. But even then, I still like the older ones where they were like normal cars, and like I like supercars. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, man, I'd rather see a dope ass Honda Civic than a fucking Lambo.
Yeah, you're talking like the original Fast and Furious.
Yeah,
those
like the first
cars.
like 4.
Yeah. Number 1 and 2. Come on, 1 and 2. Well, okay, 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, Tokyo Drift. You got to get Tokyo Drift in there.
Like one of the the fanciest car they had on 2 was like the C6 Corvette. The one that gets crushed. The one that, or no, the Mustang gets crushed by the trailer. But good morning, Mindy. How are you? I hope you're having a wonderful morning. I hope everybody's staying warm. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It looks really cold there.
It's probably really cold there.
Yeah, it's probably really cold there. Although nice, looks very winter postcard-esque. Postcard-esque. That made sense, I think.
I like this one better. It's not as cold.
Oh, there we go. Oh, I'm already warmer. Yay!
Yeah,
Canada's not as bad today. Canada's mild.
It's too cold in the world to be. That's for damn sure.
I gotta be honest. I've been in a debate over this Canada-U.S. hockey stuff for like the last 28 hours on this one fucking post. It got really funny. Some people got mean to Man-Bear, but that's okay. I just laugh, man. I'm like, it's like, y'all got beat by Canadians pastime. I was like, once. We got beat once. I was like, calm down. We got beat once. It was just funny, Brian.
All right, remember you do our back-to-back track attack, and we'll jump into our chapter 4 of Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Right. Yes, Tuesday, man. All right. Let's rock it.
I hope you all have an amazing, wonderful day, everybody. It is Toke N Tunes Tuesday. Let's go.
Hey, you, yeah, you, that spark in your eyes. I see you shining bright like the morning sky. That's got its ups and downs, its twists and turns, but every step you take is a lesson learned. When the road gets rough and you feel unsure, just know you're a fighter, you're meant to endure. Beanz is here to say you're doing just fine. You got the heart, the strength, you've got the shine. Beanz hopes you have a wonderful day. You're amazing, don't forget, in every way. When life gets tough, just remember this truth. You're strong, you're brave, and you've got the proof. Every challenge you face, every mountain you climb, shows the power within every single time. So smile, stand tall, don't be led astray. Beanz hopes you have a wonderful the kind of person who lifts others higher. When the weight feels heavy and the path seems long, remember you're built to be tough and strong. You're a rock star, a warrior, no need to pretend. You got the grit and the heart to the very end. So go out and conquer whatever comes your way. Beanz knows you've got this every single day. Beanz hopes you have a wonderful day. You're amazing, don't forget, in every way. When life gets tough, just remember this truth. You're strong, you're brave, and you've got the proof. Every challenge you face, every mountain you climb, shows the power within every single time. So smile, stand tall, don't be led astray. Beanz hopes you have a wonderful day. When the world feels heavy and you're feeling low, just take a deep breath and let that strength show. You're not just surviving, you're living out loud. Be proud of who you are, stand tall and be proud. Life's just a test of how far you've come. You're shining like the brightest sun. So keep your head high, let the worries fade. Beanz are cheering you on every step of the way. Hopes you have a wonderful day. You're amazing, don't forget, in every way. When life gets tough, just remember this truth. You're strong, you're brave, and you've got the proof. Every challenge you face, every mountain you climb, shows the power within every single time. So smile, stand tall, don't be led astray. Beanz hopes you have a wonderful day. Hey you, yeah, you're gonna be okay. Beanz believes in you each and every day. So go out there, shine, let nothing get in your way. Beanz hopes you have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Do something nice for a stranger today.
Seize the day to spread a little light. Do something kind, make the world feel right. From the Rockies to the lakes, the northern sky so blue. We've got the heart and soul to see it through. Do something nice for a stranger today. A smile, a helping hand goes a long way. In this great big world, be the best you can. Man-Bear's message is clear, lend a hand. Be yourself, cause no one else can be. You're one of a kind, a rarity. Do something nice, make someone's day. Man-Bear's wisdom lighting the way. From the maple leaf to snowy peaks, spreading kindness in every word we speak. Stay lifted, stay positive, let the good vibes flow. Be the change in the world that we all want to know. The great white north, where the spirit's strong, where kindness echoes like a favorite song. Hold the door, share a laugh, lend a helping hand. We're all in this together, walking the same land. Grab your toque and your boots, show the world your heart. Every little gesture's where the good things start. Be true to yourself and let the kindness shine. With every step you take, you're on Man-Bear's line. Be yourself, cause no one else can be. You're one of a kind, a rarity. Do something nice, make someone's day. Man-Bear's wisdom lighting the way. From the maple leaf to the snowy peaks, spreading kindness in every word we speak. Stay lifted, stay positive, let the good vibes flow. Be the change in the world that we all want to know. So wave that red and white, let the love flow free. We're stronger together, it's our legacy. Man, let's keep going, lift up and inspire. Be yourself and chase your heart's desire. Cause no one else can be. You're one of a kind, a rarity. Do something nice, just make someone's day. Man-Bear's wisdom lighting the way. From the make-believe to the snowy peaks, spreading kindness in every word they speak. Stay lifted, stay positive, let the good vibes flow. Be the change in the world that we all want to know. So take the song and let it be your guide, with Man-Bear's message right by your side. Do something kind, let your true self shine. The world needs you, one day at a time.
Canada is beautiful, bro.
It's true. 70% of the world's lakes, with over 2 million lakes in Canada.
Dang, girl. That's some
Did you
lakes.
say girl?
Yeah. All right, well, here we go. Chapter 4, The Value of Suffering. Big shout out to Amber. Thank you for donating this book to us so we can do this every Tuesday. Much love. She's actually letting us use her Audible account so we can even listen to it. So very much appreciated. This morning's morning speaker is brought to you by Amber Hensley, everybody.
The Value of Suffering. In the closing months of 1944, after almost a decade of war, the tide was turning against Japan. Their economy was floundering, their military overstretched across half of Asia. The territories they had won throughout the Pacific were now toppling like dominoes to U.S. forces. Defeat seemed inevitable. On December 26, 1944, 2nd Lieutenant Hiro Onoda of the Japanese Imperial Army was deployed to the small island of Lubang in the Philippines. His orders were to slow the United States' progress as much as possible, to stand and fight at all costs, and to never surrender. Both he and his commander knew it was essentially a suicide mission. In February 1945, the Americans arrived on Lubang and took the island with overwhelming force. Within days, most of the Japanese soldiers had either surrendered or been killed, but Onoda and 3 of his men managed to hide in the jungle. From there, they began a guerrilla warfare campaign against the U.S. forces and the local population, attacking supply lines, shooting at stray soldiers, and interfering with the American forces in any way that they could. That August, half a year later, the United States dropped atomic bombs on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Japan surrendered, and the deadliest war in human history came to its dramatic conclusion. However, thousands of Japanese soldiers were still scattered among the Pacific Isles, and most, like Onoda, were hiding in the jungle, unaware that the war was over. These holdouts continued to fight and pillage as they had before. This was a real problem for rebuilding Eastern Asia after the war, and the governments agreed something must be done. The U.S. military, in conjunction with the Japanese government, dropped thousands of leaflets throughout the Pacific region, announcing that the war was over and it was time for everyone to go home. Onoda and his men, like many others, found and read these leaflets, but unlike most of the others, Onoda decided that they were fake, a trap set by the American forces to get the guerrilla fighters to show themselves. Onoda burned the leaflets, and he and his men stayed hidden and continued to fight. 5 years went by. The leaflets had stopped, and most of the American forces had long since gone home. The local population on Lubang attempted to return to their normal lives of farming and fishing. Yet there were Hiro Onoda and his merry men, still shooting at the farmers, burning their crops, stealing their livestock, and murdering locals who wandered too far into the jungle. The Philippine government then took drawing up new flyers and spreading them out across the jungle. "Come out," they said. "The war is over. You lost." But these too were ignored. In 1952, the Japanese government made one final effort to draw the last remaining soldiers out of hiding throughout the Pacific. This time, letters and pictures from the missing soldiers' families were airdropped, along with a personal note from the emperor himself. Once again, Onoda refused to believe that the information was real. Once again, he believed the airdrop to be a trick by the Americans. Once again, he and his men stood and continued to fight. Another few years went by, and the Philippine locals, sick of being terrorized, finally armed themselves and began firing back. By 1959, one of Onoda's companions had surrendered, and another had been killed. Then, a decade later, Onoda's last companion, a man called Kozuka, was killed in a shootout with the local police while he was burning rice fields, still waging war against the local population a full quarter-century after the end of World War II. Onoda, having now spent more than half of his life in the jungles of Lubang, was all alone. In 1972, the news of Kozuka's death reached Japan and caused a stir. The Japanese people thought the last of the soldiers from the war had come home years earlier. The Japanese media began to wonder if Kozuka had still been on Lubang until 1972, then perhaps Onoda himself, the last known Japanese holdout from World War II, might still be alive as well. That year, both the Japanese and Philippine governments sent search parties to look for the enigmatic second lieutenant, now part myth, part hero, and part ghost. They found nothing. As the months progressed, the story of Lieutenant Onoda morphed into something of an urban legend in Japan, the war hero who sounded too insane to actually exist. Many romanticized him. Others criticized him. Others thought he was the stuff of fairy tale, invented by those who still wanted to believe in a Japan that had disappeared long ago. It was around this time that a young man named Norio Suzuki first heard of Onoda. Suzuki was an adventurer, an explorer, and a bit of a hippie. Born after the war ended, he had dropped out of school and spent 4 years hitchhiking his way across Asia, the Middle East, and Africa, sleeping on park benches, in strangers' cars, in jail cells, and under the stars. He volunteered on farms for food and donated blood to pay for places to stay. He was a free spirit and perhaps a little bit nuts. In 1972, Suzuki needed another adventure. He had returned to Japan after his travels and found the strict cultural norms and social hierarchy to be stifling. He hated school. He couldn't hold down a job. He wanted to be back on the road, back on his own again. For Suzuki, the legend of Hiro Onoda came as the answer to his problems. It was a new and worthy adventure for him to pursue. Suzuki believed that he would be the one who would find Onoda. Sure, search parties conducted by the Japanese, Philippine, and American governments had not been able to find Onoda. Local police forces had been scavenging the jungle for almost 30 years with no luck. Thousands of leaflets had met with no response, but fuck it, this deadbeat college dropout hippie was going to be the one to find him. Unarmed and untrained for any sort of reconnaissance or tactical warfare, Suzuki traveled to Lubang and began wandering around the jungle all by himself. His strategy? Scream Onoda's name really loudly and tell him that the Emperor was worried about him. He found Onoda in 4 days. Suzuki stayed with Onoda in the jungle for some time. Onoda had been alone by that point for over a year, and once found by Suzuki, he welcomed the companionship and was desperate to learn what had been happening in the outside world from a Japanese source he could trust. The two men became sorta kinda friends. Suzuki asked Onoda why he had stayed and continued to fight. Onoda said it was simple. He had been given the order to never surrender, so he stayed. For nearly 30 years, he had simply been following an order. Onoda then asked Suzuki why a hippie boy like himself came looking for him. Suzuki said that he'd left Japan in search of 3 things: Lieutenant Onoda, a panda bear, and the abominable snowman, in that order. The two men had been brought together under the most curious of circumstances. 2 well-intentioned adventurers chasing false visions of glory, like a real-life Japanese Don Quixote and Sancho Panza, stuck together in the damp recesses of a Philippine jungle, both imagining themselves heroes, despite both being alone with nothing, doing nothing. Onoda had already by then given up most of his life to a phantom war. Suzuki would give his up too. Having already found Hiro Onoda and the panda bear, he would die a few years later in the Himalayas, still in search of the abominable snowman. Humans often choose to dedicate large portions of their lives to seemingly useless or destructive causes. On the surface, these causes make no sense. It's hard to imagine how Onoda could have been happy on that island for those 30 years, living off insects and rodents, sleeping in the dirt, murdering civilians decade after decade. Or why Suzuki trekked off to his own death with no money, no companions, and no purpose other than to chase an imaginary yeti. Yet, later in his life, Onoda said he regretted nothing. He claimed that he was proud of his choices and his time on Lubang. He said that it had been an honor to devote a sizable portion of his life in service to a non-existent empire. Suzuki, had he survived, likely would have said something similar, that he was doing exactly what he was meant to do, that he regretted nothing. These men both chose how they wished to suffer. Hiro Onoda chose to suffer for loyalty to a dead empire. Suzuki chose to suffer for adventure, no matter how ill-advised. To both men, their suffering meant something. It fulfilled some greater cause, and because it meant something, they were able to endure it, or perhaps even enjoy it. If suffering is inevitable, if our problems in life are unavoidable, then the question we should be asking is not, how do I stop suffering? But, why am I suffering? For what purpose? Hiro Onoda returned to Japan in 1974 and became a kind of celebrity in his home country. He was shuttled around from talk show to radio station. Politicians clamored to shake his hand. He published a book and was even offered a large sum of money by the government. But what he found when he returned to Japan horrified him. A consumerist, capitalist, superficial culture that had lost all of the traditions of honor and sacrifice upon which his generation had been raised. Onoda tried to use his sudden celebrity to espouse the values of old Japan, but he was tone-deaf to this new society. He was seen more as a showpiece than as a serious cultural thinker, a Japanese man who had emerged from a time capsule for all to marvel at, like a relic in a museum. And in the irony of ironies, Onoda became far more depressed than he'd ever been in the jungle for all those years. At least in the jungle, his life had stood for something. It had meant something. That had made his suffering endurable, indeed, even a little bit desirable. But back in Japan, in what he considered to be a vacuous nation full of hippies and loose women in Western clothing, he was confronted with the unavoidable truth that his fighting had meant nothing. The Japan he had lived and fought for no longer existed. And the weight of this realization pierced him in a way that no bullet ever had. Because his suffering had meant nothing, it suddenly became realized and true. 30 years wasted. And so, in 1980, Onoda packed up and moved to Brazil, where he remained until he died. The self-awareness onion. Self-awareness is like an onion. There are multiple layers to it, and the more you peel them back, the more likely you're going to start crying at inappropriate times. Let's say the first layer of the self-awareness onion is a simple understanding of one's emotions. This is when I feel happy. This makes me feel sad. This gives me hope. Unfortunately, there are many people who suck at even this most basic level of self-awareness. I know because I'm one of them. My wife and I sometimes have a fun back and forth that goes something like this. Her. What's wrong? Me. Nothing's wrong. Nothing at all. Her. No, something's wrong. Tell me. Me. I'm fine, really. Her. Are you sure? You look upset. Me, with nervous laughter. Really? No, I'm okay. Seriously. 30 minutes later. Me. And that's why I'm so fucking pissed off. He just acts as if I don't exist half the time. We all have emotional blind spots. Often they have to do with emotions that we were taught were inappropriate growing up. It takes years of practice and effort to get good at identifying blind spots in ourselves and then expressing the affected emotions appropriately. But this task is hugely important and worth the effort. The second layer of the self-awareness onion is an ability to ask why we feel certain emotions. These why questions are difficult and often take months or even years to answer consistently and accurately. Most people need to go to some sort of therapist just to hear these questions asked for the first time. Such questions are important because they illuminate what we consider success or failure. Why do you feel angry? Is it because you failed to achieve some goal? Why do you feel lethargic and uninspired? Is it because you don't think you're good enough? This layer of questioning helps us understand the root cause of the emotions that overwhelm us. Once we understand that root cause, we can ideally do something to change it. But there's another, even deeper level of the self-awareness onion, and that one is full of fucking tears. The third level is our personal values. Why do I consider this to be success or failure? How am I choosing to measure myself? By what standard am I judging myself and everyone around me? This level, which takes constant questioning and effort, is incredibly difficult to reach. But it's the most important, because our values determine the nature of our problems. And the nature of our problems determines the quality of our lives. Values underlie everything we are and do. If what we value is unhelpful, if what we consider success or failure is poorly chosen, then everything based upon those values, the thoughts, the emotions, the day-to-day feelings, will all be out of whack. Everything we think and feel about a situation ultimately comes back to how valuable we perceive it to be. Most people are horrible at answering these why questions accurately, and this prevents them from achieving a deeper knowledge of their own values. Sure, they may say they value honesty and a true friend, but then they turn around and lie about you behind your back to make themselves feel better. People may perceive that they feel lonely, but when they ask themselves why they feel lonely, they tend to come up with a way to blame others. Everyone else is mean, or no one is cool or smart enough to understand them, and thus they further avoid their problem instead of seeking to solve it. For many people, this passes as self-awareness, and yet, if they were able to go deeper and look at their underlying values, they would see that their original analysis was based on avoiding responsibility for their own problem, rather than accurately identifying the problem. They would see that their decisions were based on chasing highs, not generating true happiness. Most self-help gurus ignore this deeper level of self-awareness as well. They take people who are miserable because they want to be rich, and then give them all sorts of advice on how to make more money, all the while ignoring important values-based questions. Why do they feel such a need to be rich in the first place? How are they choosing to measure success or failure for themselves? Is it not perhaps some particular value that's the root cause of their unhappiness, and not the fact that they don't drive a Bentley yet? Much of the advice out there operates at a shallow level of simply trying to make people feel good in the short term, while the real long-term problems never get solved. People's perceptions and feelings may change, but the underlying values and the metrics by which those values are assessed stay the same. This is not real progress. This is just another way to achieve more highs. Honest self-questioning is difficult. It requires asking yourself simple questions that are uncomfortable to answer. In fact, in my experience, the more uncomfortable the answer, the more likely it is to be true. Take a moment and think of something that's really bugging you. Now ask yourself why it bugs you. Chances are the answers will involve a failure of some sort. Then take that failure and ask why it seems true to you. What if that failure wasn't really a failure? What if you've been looking at it the wrong way? A recent example from my own life. It bugs me that my brother doesn't return my texts or emails. Why? Because it feels like he doesn't give a shit about me. Why does this seem true? Because if he wanted to have a relationship with me, he would take 10 seconds out of his day to interact with me. Why does his lack of a relationship with you feel like a failure? Because we're brothers. We're supposed to have a good relationship. Two things are operating here: a value that I hold dear, and a metric that I use to assess progress toward that value. My value. Brothers are supposed to have a good relationship with one another. My metric. Being in contact by phone or email. This is how I measure my success as a brother. By holding on to this metric, I make myself feel like a failure, which occasionally ruins my Saturday mornings. We could dig even deeper by repeating the process. Why are brothers supposed to have a good relationship? Because they're family, and family are supposed to be close. Why does that seem true? Because your family is supposed to matter to you more than anyone else. Why does that seem true? Because being close with your family is normal and healthy, and I don't have that. In this exchange, I'm clear about my underlying value, having a good relationship with my brother, but I'm still struggling with my metric. I've given it another name, closeness, but the metric hasn't really changed. I'm still judging myself as a brother based on frequency of contact, and comparing myself, using that metric, against other people I know. Everyone else, or so it seems, has a close relationship with their family members, and I don't. So obviously there must be something wrong with me. But what if I'm choosing a poor metric for myself and my life? What else could be true that I'm not considering? Well, perhaps I don't need to be close to my brother to have that good relationship that I value. Perhaps there just needs to be some mutual respect, which there is. Or maybe mutual trust is what to look for, and it's there. Perhaps these metrics would be better assessments of brotherhood than how many text messages he and I exchange. This clearly makes sense. It feels true for me, but it still fucking hurts that my brother and I aren't close. And there is no positive way to spin it. There's no secret way to glorify myself through this knowledge. Sometimes brothers, even brothers who love each other, don't have close relationships, and that's fine. It is hard to accept at first, but that's fine. What is objectively true about your situation is not as important as how you come to see the situation, how you choose to measure it and value it. Problems may be inevitable, but the meaning of each problem is not. We get to control what our problems mean based on how we choose to think about them, the standard by which we choose to measure them. Rock star problems. In 1983, a talented young guitarist was kicked out of his band in the worst possible way. The band had just been signed to a record deal, and they were about to record their first album. But a couple days before recording began, the band showed the guitarist the door. No warning, no discussion, no dramatic blowout. They literally woke him up one day by handing him a bus ticket home. As he sat on the bus back to Los Angeles from New York, the guitarist kept asking himself, how did this happen? What did I do wrong? What will I do now? Record contracts didn't exactly fall out of the sky, especially for raucous, upstart metal bands. Had he missed his one and only shot? But by the time the bus hit L.A., the guitarist had gotten over his self-pity and had vowed to start a new band. He decided that this new band would be so successful that his old band would forever regret their decision. He would become so famous that they would be subjected to decades of seeing him on TV, hearing him on the radio, seeing posters of him in the streets and pictures of him in magazines. They'd be flipping burgers somewhere, loading vans from their shitty club gigs, fat and drunk with their ugly wives, and he'd be rocking out in front of stadium crowds live on television. He'd bathe in the tears of his betrayers, each tear wiped dry by a crisp, clean $100 bill. And so the guitarist worked as if possessed by a musical demon. He spent months recruiting the best musicians he could find, far better musicians than his previous bandmates. He wrote dozens of songs and practiced religiously. His seething anger fueled his ambition. Revenge became his muse. Within a couple years, his new band had signed a record deal of their own, and a year after that, their first record would go gold. The guitarist's name was Dave Mustaine, and the new band he formed was the legendary heavy metal band Megadeth. Megadeth would go on to sell over 25 million albums and tour the world many times over. Today, Mustaine is considered one of the most brilliant and influential musicians in the history of heavy metal music. Unfortunately, the band he was kicked out of was Metallica, which has sold over 180 million albums worldwide. Metallica is considered by many to be one of the greatest rock bands of all time. And because of this, in a rare intimate interview in 2003, a tearful Mustaine admitted that he couldn't help but still consider himself a failure. Despite all that he had accomplished, in his mind he would always be the guy who got kicked out of Metallica. We're apes. We think we're all sophisticated with our toaster ovens and designer footwear, but we're just a bunch of finely ornamented apes. And because we are apes, we instinctually measure ourselves against others and vie for status. The question is not whether we evaluate ourselves against others. Rather, the question is, by what standard do we measure ourselves? Dave Mustaine, whether he realized it or not, chose to measure himself by whether he was more successful and popular than Metallica. The experience of getting thrown out of his former band was so painful for him that he adopted success relative to Metallica as the metric by which to measure himself and his music career. Despite taking a horrible event in his life and making something positive out of it, as Mustaine did with Megadeth, his choice to hold on to Metallica's success as his life-defining metric continued to hurt him decades later. Despite all the money and the fans and the accolades, he still considered himself a failure. Now, you and I may look at Dave Mustaine's situation and laugh. Here's this guy with millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of adoring fans, a career doing the thing he loves best, and still he's getting all weepy-eyed that his rock star buddies from 20 years ago are way more famous than he is. This is because you and I have different values than Mustaine does, and we measure ourselves by different metrics. Our metrics are probably more like, I don't want to work a job for a boss I hate, or I'd like to earn enough money to send my kid to a good school, or I'd be happy not to wake up in a drainage ditch. And by these metrics, Mustaine is wildly, unimaginably successful. But by his metric, be more popular and successful than Metallica, he's a failure. Our values determine the metrics by which we measure ourselves and everyone else. Onoda's value of loyalty to the Japanese Empire is what sustained him on Lubang for almost 30 years. But this same value is also what made him miserable upon his return to Japan. Mustaine's metric of being better than Metallica likely helped him launch an incredibly successful music career. But that same metric later tortured him in spite of his success. If you want to change how you see your problems, you have to change what you value and/or how you measure failure and success. As an example, let's look at another musician who got kicked out of another band. His story eerily echoes that of Dave Mustaine, although it happened 2 decades earlier. It was 1962, and there was a buzz around an up-and-coming band from Liverpool, England. This band had funny haircuts and an even funnier name, but their music was undeniably good, and the record industry was finally taking notice. There was John, the lead singer and songwriter, Paul, the boyish-faced romantic bass player, George, the rebellious lead guitar player, and then there was the drummer. He was considered the best-looking of the bunch. The girls all went wild for him, and it was his face that began to appear in the magazines first. He was the most professional member of the group, too. He didn't do drugs. He had a steady girlfriend. There were even a few people in suits and ties who thought he should be the face of the band, not John or Paul. His name was Pete Best, and in 1962, after landing their first record contract, the other 3 members of the Beatles quietly got together and asked their manager, Brian Epstein, to fire him. Epstein agonized over the decision. He liked Pete, so he put it off, hoping the other 3 guys would change their minds. Months later, a mere 3 days before the recording of the first record began, Epstein finally called Best to his office. There, the manager unceremoniously told him to piss off and find another band. He gave no reason, no explanation, no condolences. Just told him that the other guys wanted him out of the group, so, best of luck. As a replacement, the band brought in some oddball named Ringo Starr. Ringo was older and had a big, funny nose. Ringo agreed to get the same ugly haircut as John, Paul, and George, and insisted on writing songs about octopuses and submarines. The other guys said, sure, fuck it, why not? Within 6 months of Best's firing, Beatlemania had erupted, making John, Paul, George, and Ringo Starr arguably 4 of the most famous faces on the entire planet. Meanwhile, Best understandably fell into a deep depression and spent a lot of time doing what any Englishman will do if you give him a reason to: drink. The rest of the 60s were not kind to Pete Best. By 1965, he had sued 2 of the Beatles for slander, and all of his other musical projects had failed horribly. In 1968, he attempted suicide, only to be talked out of it by his mother. His life was a wreck. Best didn't have the same redemptive story Dave Mustaine did. He never became a global superstar or made millions of dollars. Yet in many ways, Best ended up better off than Mustaine. In an interview in 1994, Best said, "I'm happier than I would have been with the Beatles." What the hell? Best explained that the circumstances of his getting kicked out of the Beatles ultimately led him to meet his wife, and then his marriage led him to having children. His values changed. He began to measure his life differently. Fame and glory would have been nice, sure, but he decided that what he already had was more important: a big and loving family, a stable marriage, a simple life. He even still got to play drums, touring Europe and recording albums well into the 2000s. So what was really lost? Just a lot of attention and adulation, whereas what was gained meant so much more to him. These stories suggest that some values and metrics are better than others. Some lead to good problems that are easily and regularly solved. Others lead to bad problems that are not easily and regularly solved. Shitty values. There are a handful of common values that create really poor problems for people, problems that can hardly be solved. So let's go over some of them quickly. 1. Pleasure. Pleasure is great, but it's a horrible value to prioritize your life around. Ask any drug addict how his pursuit of pleasure turned out. Ask an adulterer who shattered her family and lost her children whether pleasure ultimately made her happy. Ask a man who almost ate himself to death how pleasure helped him solve his problems. Pleasure is a false god. Research shows that people who focus their energy on superficial pleasures end up more anxious, more emotionally unstable, and more depressed. Pleasure is the most superficial form of life satisfaction and therefore the easiest to obtain and the easiest to lose. And yet, pleasure is what's marketed to us 24/7. It's what we fixate on. It's what we use to numb and distract ourselves. But pleasure, while necessary in life in certain doses, isn't by itself sufficient. Pleasure is not the cause of happiness. Rather, it is the effect. If you get the other stuff right, the other values and metrics, then pleasure will naturally occur as a byproduct. 2. Material success. Many people measure their self-worth based on how much money they make or what kind of car they drive, or whether their front lawn is greener and prettier than the next-door neighbor's. Research shows that once one is able to provide for basic physical needs, food, shelter, and so on, the correlation between happiness and worldly success quickly approaches zero. So if you're starving and living on the street in the middle of India, an extra $10,000 a year would affect your happiness a lot. But if you're sitting pretty in the middle class in a developed country, an extra $10,000 per year won't affect anything much, meaning that you're killing yourself working overtime and weekends for basically nothing. The other issue with overvaluing material success is the danger of prioritizing it over other values, such as honesty, nonviolence, and compassion. When people measure themselves not by their behavior, but by the status symbols they're able to collect, then not only are they shallow, but they're probably assholes as well. 3. Always being right. Our brains are inefficient machines. We consistently make poor assumptions, misjudge probabilities, misremember facts, give in to cognitive biases, and make decisions based on our emotional whims. As humans, we're wrong pretty much constantly. So if your metric for life success is to be right, well, you're going to have a difficult time rationalizing all of the bullshit to yourself. The fact is, people who base their self-worth on being right about everything prevent themselves from learning from their mistakes. They lack the ability to take on new perspectives and empathize with others. They close themselves off to new and important information. It's far more helpful to assume that you're ignorant and don't know a whole lot. This keeps you unattached to superstitious or poorly informed beliefs and promotes a constant state of learning and growth. 4. Staying positive. Then there are those who measure their lives by the ability to be positive about, well, pretty much everything. Lost your job? Great! That's an opportunity to explore your passions. Husband cheated on you with your sister? Well, at least you're learning what you really mean to the people around you. Child dying of throat cancer? At least you don't have to pay for college anymore. While there is something to be said for staying on the sunny side of life, the truth is, sometimes life sucks. And the healthiest thing you can do is admit it. Denying negative emotions leads to experiencing deeper and more prolonged negative emotions, and to emotional dysfunction. Constant positivity is a form of avoidance, not a valid solution to life's problems. Problems which, by the way, if you're choosing the right values and metrics, should be invigorating you and motivating you. It's simple, really. Things go wrong, people upset us, accidents happen. These things make us feel like shit, and that's fine. Negative emotions are a necessary component of emotional health. To deny that negativity is to perpetuate problems rather than solve them. The trick with negative emotions is to 1. Express them in a socially acceptable and healthy manner, and 2. Express them in a way that aligns with your values. A simple example. A value of mine is nonviolence, as measured by metrics such as not hitting. Therefore, when I get mad at somebody, I express that anger, but I also make a point of not punching my adversary in the face. Radical idea, I know. But the anger is not the problem. Anger is natural. Anger is a part of life. Anger is arguably quite healthy in many situations. Remember, emotions are just feedback. See, it's the punching people in the face that's the problem, not the anger. The anger is merely the messenger for my fist in your face. Don't blame the messenger. Blame my fist. Or your face. When we force ourselves to stay positive at all times, we deny the existence of our life's problems. And when we deny our problems, we rob ourselves of the chance to solve them and generate happiness. Problems add a sense of meaning and importance to our life. Thus, to duck our problems is to lead a meaningless, even if supposedly pleasant, existence. In the long run, completing a marathon makes us happier than eating a chocolate cake. Raising a child makes us happier than beating a video game. Starting a small business with friends while struggling to make ends meet makes us happier than buying a new computer. These activities are stressful, arduous, and often unpleasant. They also require withstanding problem after problem. Yet they are some of the most meaningful moments and joyous things we'll ever do. They involve pain, struggle, even anger and despair. Yet once they're accomplished, we look back and get all misty-eyed telling our grandkids about them. As Freud once said, one day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. This is why these values, pleasure, material success, always being right, staying positive, are poor ideals for a person's life. Some of the greatest moments of one's life are not pleasant, not successful, not known, and not positive. The point is to nail down some good values and metrics, and pleasure and success will naturally emerge as a result. These things are side effects of good values. By themselves, they are empty highs. Defining good and bad values. Good values are 1. Reality-based, 2. Socially constructive, and 3. Immediate and controllable. Bad values are 1. Superstitious, 2. Socially destructive, and 3. Not immediate or controllable. Honesty is a good value because it's something you have complete control over. It reflects reality and it benefits others, even if it's sometimes unpleasant. Popularity, on the other hand, is a bad value. If that's your value, and if your metric is being the most popular guy or girl at the dance party, much of what happens will be out of your control. You don't know who else will be at the event, and you probably won't know who half those people are. Second, the value or metric isn't based on reality. You may feel popular or unpopular, when in fact you have no fucking clue what anybody else really thinks about you. Side note, as a rule, people who are terrified of what others think about them are actually terrified of all the shitty things they think about themselves being reflected back at them. Some examples of good, healthy values: honesty, innovation, vulnerability, standing up for oneself, standing up for others, self-respect, curiosity, charity, humility, creativity. Some examples of bad, unhealthy values: dominance through manipulation or violence, indiscriminate fucking, feeling good all the time, always being the center of attention, not being alone, being liked by everybody, being rich for the sake of being rich, sacrificing small animals to the pagan gods. You'll notice that good, healthy values are achieved internally. Something like creativity or humility can be experienced right now. You simply have to orient your mind in a certain way to experience it. These values are immediate and controllable and engage you with the world as it is rather than how you wish it were. Bad values are generally reliant on external events, flying in a private jet, being told you're right all the time, owning a house in the Bahamas, eating a cannoli while getting blown by 3 strippers. Bad values, while sometimes fun or pleasurable, lie outside of your control and often require socially destructive or superstitious means to achieve. Values are about prioritization. Everybody would love a good cannoli or a house in the Bahamas. The question is your priorities. What are the values that you prioritize above everything else, and that therefore influence your decision-making more than anything else? Hiroo Onoda's highest value was complete loyalty and service to the Japanese Empire. This value, in case you couldn't tell from reading about him, stank worse than a rotten sushi roll. It created really shitty problems for Hiro. Namely, he got stuck on a remote island where he lived off bugs and worms for 30 years. Oh, and he felt compelled to murder innocent civilians, too. So, despite the fact that Hiro saw himself as a success, and despite the fact that he lived up to his metrics, I think we can all agree that his life really sucked. None of us would trade shoes with him given the opportunity, nor would we commend his actions. Dave Mustaine achieved great fame and glory and felt like a failure anyway. This is because he'd adopted a crappy value based on some arbitrary comparison to the success of others. This value gave him awful problems, such as, I need to sell 150 million more records, then everything will be great. And, my next tour needs to be nothing but stadiums. Problems he thought he needed to solve in order to be happy. It's no surprise that he wasn't. On the contrary, Pete Best pulled a switcheroo. Despite being depressed and distraught by getting kicked out of the Beatles, as he grew older, he learned to reprioritize what he cared about and was able to measure his life in a new light. Because of this, Best grew into a happy and healthy old man with an easy life and great family. Things that, ironically, the 4 Beatles would spend decades struggling to achieve or maintain. When we have poor values, that is, poor standards we set for ourselves and others, we are essentially giving fucks about the things that don't matter, things that in fact make our life worse. But when we choose better values, we are able to divert our fucks to something better, toward things that matter, things that improve the state of our well-being and that generate happiness, pleasure, and success as side effects. This, in a nutshell, is what self-improvement is really about. Prioritizing better values, choosing better things to give a fuck about. Because when you give better fucks, you get better problems. And when you get better problems, you get a better life. The rest of this book is dedicated to 5 counterintuitive values that I believe are the most beneficial values one can adopt. All follow the backwards law we talked about earlier, in that they're negative. All require confronting deeper problems rather than avoiding them through highs. These 5 values are both unconventional and uncomfortable, but to me, they are life-changing. The first, which we'll look at in the next chapter, is a radical form of responsibility. Taking responsibility for everything that occurs in your life, regardless of who's at fault. The second is uncertainty. The acknowledgement of your own ignorance and the cultivation of constant doubt in your own beliefs. The next is failure. The willingness to discover your own flaws and mistakes so that they may be improved upon. The fourth is rejection. The ability to both say and hear no, thus clearly defining what you will and will not accept in your life. The final value is the contemplation of one's own mortality. This one is crucial, because paying vigilant attention to one's own death is perhaps the only thing capable of helping us keep all our other values in proper perspective.
All right, and that is the end of chapter 4.
That was really good.
That was really good. I fucking love it. Sometimes he says some shit. I'm like, what the fuck? But
yeah, I don't know about the whole. Yeah, about the one part he said, but what I was gonna say is I think it's hard to differentiate between our wants and our needs, which is like, most of the time we're actually looking at what we want as opposed to what we need, and
or
it's
what we
hard to.
feel like we need.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard to explain because I'm trying to speak from personal experience. Like I said, I know how you don't like to give advice because it may not pertain to the person you're giving advice to. Like, if somebody without kids gives me advice about my kids, I should laugh at them in a way. I'm just saying, like, even like if there's somebody who's a child psychologist but they've never had children, that's a cool
Yeah,
study of children you've
absolutely.
done.
There's
But you don't have.
there is a certain fact of the unknowing that you have to understand.
Yes.
And then like there's a lot of that, like just in accepting that you don't understand so much about things helps so much. You know what I mean? Like,
is it better?
For instance, like I know what I would do in a certain situation with one of your kids, but that's me, in my opinion, not having kids. You know what I mean? And so like I do understand that there is that aspect I don't know.
Is it better to grow up with a bunch of cheerleaders and yes men that are always, where you're not told no very often? Or is it better to grow up with a lot of people saying, no, you can't have this. No, you have to. Is it better to grow up with more of a sense of individuality, or is it more of a, and I don't want to say codependent. That's not the right word, but like in a way it kind of is when you grow up with nothing but cheerleaders and people always saying you're doing good no matter what. And I hate to bring it up, but the whole participation ribbon trophy thing kind of in that category.
Hey, good morning, Jody. Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday morning.
Yeah. Like I said, it goes back to the want and need thing again, and prioritizing, like he said, the important things that you should focus your energy on. And when he said the whole mortality thing, I'm over 40 now, and something I think about a lot of time, because if you think about the half-life of the average Canadian male, it's probably 30 something.
Yeah.
So I'm already over, like, just in general, right. I'm probably over half-life.
I get what you're saying. When I hit 30, I had a deep thought about that, because I was like, man, yeah, absolutely. Like the halfway point, and it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
It is. I think it's something that you kind of have to keep in the back of your mind or something, because you don't realize how fast things happen. And one thing that I talk about, people laughing about, is some people don't have a good perception of time. And like, I talk to some people, I'll be there in 20 minutes. And like 4 hours later they show up, oh yeah, sorry, I had to do a couple things. And you're like, okay, there's a big difference between 20 minutes and 4 hours.
Like, I like the part where he was talking about, like, just have a conversation with yourself. Like, why? Yeah. Just ask yourself why. You know the answers. Your brain knows the dang it. You know what I mean? Like, your subconscious. You can really tap in and have a conversation with that shit. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, like, there's times when, like, my subconscious will be like, don't do that. And I'll be like, okay. But I do it anyway.
I know we listen to a lot of these Dr. K's and a lot of these different morning speakers, and this especially. Thank you so much, Amber. I absolutely love this. A lot of it has to do with, I don't want to say always, a lot of it has to do with having some kind of support, not being alone, always having some kind of outlet. And the scariest thing is this is a Tom Hardy quote. He says, the scariest thing about being alone is how peaceful and awesome it can actually be. Because when I grew up in the 90s going through school, if you hung out by yourself, you were a loner, right? Just someone who wasn't, absolutely. Right? But moving into 2000s, you were depressed. That same kid sitting on that bench at lunch by himself was depressed, not a loner.
Now you're an introvert.
Yeah, right. And they keep changing the definition of the same thing, but they're changing it down that depression, that like negative side. Like, I'm sorry, I understand having a support system and stuff and having an outlet to talk to people. At the same time, my mornings alone, my mornings alone. Like, I'm not saying like be alone all the time. I'm just saying there are times where being alone can be peaceful and good.
There's a giant, massive difference between being alone and being lonely.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I mean. Is definitely 100%. That's what I was trying to get to. Is it's not necessarily being lonely. It's being alone. Is
being alone can be great. Being lonely can be horrible.
Being alone can be scary good, because like I find even my mornings before my family wakes up, I'm like, I don't have to, like, it's like I have to do things. But when there's a time where you literally don't have to do anything, and you're almost like, wow, I can just sit here and like actually just like watch Netflix or
I remember a study I saw that said the equivalent of like the feeling and the health detriment of loneliness is the equivalent of smoking a pack of cigarettes a day.
Yeah. No, and that's like really, really good. And I'm so speaking of cigarettes, like real cigarettes, if I hadn't
good morning, Tim. How are you, man? I hope you're having a wonderful morning.
If I hadn't quit smoking cigarettes about 16 years ago, I probably wouldn't be with us right now.
Yeah. It's very crazy. Yeah, I think that, you can be surrounded by people and still feel alone. It's about it, and at the same time, I feel like you do have to have some sort of a support system, but I feel like it's not them always supporting you as in like, like whatever, like more of like a bettering yourself type of a support. What I mean, like I like to think of it as like we work on ourselves together. Like I work like, hey, good morning, Trista. How are you this morning? Hope you're having a wonderful morning.
It's hard because I know there's people out there who don't have necessarily that person to talk to every day that some people need. And that's the hardest thing is, even going into Canada, the mental health situation when it comes to the medical side could be so much better if they had more people that we could just talk to. We don't need pills. I'm just saying we don't need pills and medicine. And like, I'm even talking about like, some people don't even need weed. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to. I mean, having a 5 to 15 minute conversation with even just an acquaintance about anything. It could be about anything. We talk about baseball it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
The fact that you're able to sit there and depress a little. You know what I mean? Like depress your actual stuff,
about your problems. And they just like, they don't even listen to what you're saying. They're literally just kind of, they're formulating what they're saying in their mind while you're speaking.
It's like, so I'll give you the best example. Be like, hey, Beanz, well, I just found out I have diabetes. And Beanz answers me like, yeah, I know my aunt had it. That's so bad. Yeah. Well, anyway, so what we got going on next? Like, you literally like bypass what I say. And those people are so bad for you. They're so toxic, And
so even just somebody, you're saying like, like you saying like, oh, my aunt has diabetes. And I'm like, bro, that sucks. Like, that's the end of it. Not like the end of it. But that's all I have to say. Now it's your turn to keep going.
Invalidating what I'm saying basically is you would be invalidating what I'm saying and not actually be like, oh, that's crazy. Like, what are you doing about it? Like someone who cared or actually was receptive would be like, hey, well, are you on insulin? They would actually start a conversation about it, not just bypass what you just said. Oh, by the way, I got that wrong with me. Oh, that's great. Well, my third cousin had it. Well, I got to go. I got a birthday party. Like it's totally invalidating what you're saying.
Oh, that's nothing. My aunt had double diabetes, bro.
Yeah. Oh, dude, my dog had like 7 different kinds of diabetes.
Right. Like, it's not. You don't have it that bad, bro.
Like I ripped off this one arm one day, and I attached it with the other arm. This arm got ripped.
Like, like I have bad days and stuff like that. But damn, I'm grateful that I'm not like homeless or starving in Africa or you know what I mean, like, or any third world country. You know what I mean, like. There's a fine line of like, bro, it's not. It could be worse, like quit bitching, but at the same time, like, yeah, bro, like life is hard for everybody, including you or me or whoever.
It's it's different. It's different hard. You know what I mean though? Like it's hard, but at the same time, I talk to some people and they're just like, everybody's life's difficult. And I'm like, yeah, but you can't say it like that. You got to say everybody's life is difficult in their own way. Cause I'm just saying like I said earlier, some things come really easy to me and other things don't. Just some things I've learned over years and years and years that I don't do. Some things I do. Some things I'm an expert at.
Sorry.
No, you're good. But you know what I mean, though? Like just like when it comes to production stuff, you spent so much time doing it. Some things you do, it's without thinking. You don't have to think. You just know them and you do them. And that's not from being a master of the trade. Well, it is, but it's from doing it so often over a certain amount of time that you're that kind of good at
like
it.
Like the mechanic argument, like Gavin Bell was talking about until one day. Like, yeah, I can do it in 5 minutes. Plus the 3.5 years that it took me to learn how to do it in 5 minutes.
There was a cruise ship, and nobody could fix the engine that was wrong with the ship, and so they called a heavy-duty mechanic in. He spent 5 minutes and hit one thing with a hammer and charged them $20,000. And they're like, well, what are you talking about? And he's like, you're not paying for my time. You're paying for the 30 years of experience that taught me where to look and where to hit that hammer. And none of your guys could do it, and like, it's such a good story about that. And like, it's same as like shoveling snow. You're not paying for my time sometimes. Cause sometimes, man, I can shovel a driveway in 15 minutes and they're like, oh, here's $10. I'm like, that's cool. but you know, most people give me $50 a driveway. That's not my rate, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I got people that doesn't matter how long it takes me to shovel, they're still going to pay me good because they know the quality's there and my experience speaks for itself.
But at the same time, that dude, that person could have $11 and give you.
Oh yeah, that's why.
You know,
my other
that
part,
too.
I don't have a rate. I don't. I would take the $10. I would just be like, most people understand by now that I've been doing this for I've been shoveling snow for 20+ years. So there's nothing I can't. You know. Yeah. But I get what you're saying. That's why I don't have a rate. I literally tell everybody, pay me what you think. Some people give me 10, some people give me 50, some give me 20. I don't care. It's money. You know what I mean? It's basically tax-free money if you want to look at it that way. So yeah.
Or it's fucking 5 o'clock in the morning. I've got a $10 bill in my wallet, and I'm not going to the ATM. I'll get you next time.
And I hate to say that you guys got all your cash apps and all that shit.
Yeah, for real.
We have e-transfer with us through our email. So a lot of people,
most of it's all through cash, where they just pay you cash when you're done.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I get it because I've shoveled snow and mowed lawns and shit like that, to where it's especially shoveling snow when you do it early as fuck before people are the world's awake, and then
well, that's why I really got my fingers crossed with this job working out, because I've done seasonal work for literally 20 years. I've been outside doing so much, and I don't mind it. Don't get me wrong, I love being outside, but I'm over 40 now, and I think an indoor job at a nice place is going to be good for me. I'm really looking forward to that. Sorry, I'm blabbing a lot this morning, but yeah.
No, you're good, man. You make up for yesterday, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
How was your morning off yesterday?
I know, it was good. Honestly, I literally I gotta be honest. I put my headphones on, play a little Call of Duty, lying in bed, It's dude, I swear it's fun, right?
Yeah, everybody missed you, bro. Everybody's like, the show sucks. Where's Man-Bear?
Oh yeah, right. No, it was basically the music morning show, wasn't it?
Yeah, everybody was like, bro, there's 3 people watching, and they were like, well, I think it was my YouTube and then the Cove YouTube. No, I'm just kidding.
You're so full of shit. You can't even get through it. I love you, man. It's awesome.
No, that's cool. Yeah, we just played live music. We hung out. You did miss a good morning speaker, but
yeah, I know. It's what are you talking about? Every morning's a good morning speaker. You missed the morning speaker. If I miss it, it's I've already missed a good morning speaker. It was Dr. K, wasn't it?
After Sunday, because I know that big shout out to your congratulations and all of this.
Yeah, holy
wild, bro. All the shows on Sunday, I was bro, and you could have not, but I was for sure. I was dude, if you wanted to take the morning off and get some sleep,
it was good.
You were on stage a lot, and people who don't do this a lot. I don't know if the people. I don't know how I want to word it. But some people don't understand.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Even just a couple of hours of being on stage and doing it gets to be very exhausting. It can be. So when you're doing 4, 5, 6, 7 shows a day, every day you're just Phew.
Yeah, and our Saturday shows were 3 and a half hours.
Saturday was a very long day of shows.
Good days. Don't get me wrong. There's still good days. Yeah. I love dodgeball, man. It's been amazing.
I had a feeling because when we hit Dodgeball News Network, the morning speaker was 47 minutes long, and that's a pretty long morning speaker. And then Dodgeball News Network ran long because I wanted to really dive into where everybody was at.
Well, because the stats are all stacking up.
Yeah, it's getting very critical, and so sometimes the shows just run very long, but it can be very taxing. When you get to be doing, I remember when I was doing Moving Minnesota, and I'd go straight from Moving Minnesota, the afternoon show to the night show, and sometimes there would be a pop up in between, and man, but it's amazing.
It is.
Right, absolutely, man, for real. And it's not in a bad way. I love it. I love it 100%. But yeah. Well,
yep.
All right.
Thank you again so much, Amber. Thank you, Vicki. Thank you again, Amber, for the book. It's so amazing. I'm loving everything. He's very articulate, and he's speaking the way we can understand. I don't agree with his personal experience on his story today. That was totally personal experience. He spouted that off way too fast. I'm just bugging you. Make sure you spread some love and positivity. Do something nice for yourself, something nice for strangers, something nice for your friend, and we'll see you all this afternoon.
Much love, everybody. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Man-Bear, it's great to have you back this morning. I hope you had a great morning off yesterday. You so deserve it. Make sure that you are following everybody on the Cove-TV production team, from the Man-Bear in the mornings with me and every other show. But and Sir Cops a lot. Congratulations on the 1.5K. Stay tuned on everything he's got going on. And it is Tuesday, but I'll dive into that. That Toke N Tunes Tuesday, that's Sir Cops a lot Steel. Make sure you're following him. It's only on his pages. Make sure you're following Europe Entertainment. Congratulations on the 2K. Make sure you're staying tuned to everything he's got going on, because he's got all sorts of stuff popping up here in the next few weeks, months, all over the time. Make sure you are following that Dabber chick. Her show tomorrow, I believe. We're sorry about all the schedule changes, but you guys know how it goes. Trying to get a show going and making it fluctuate and flow comfortably with everything else, and plus wife schedules, her work schedule, my work schedule. Yeah, so we're gonna get into a good time slot, and then we'll get it locked in. So it's always the same time every week. Make sure you are following Magic from Mad Productions, and make sure that you are not missing out. In 13 days, the night that should be Magic's Mad Movie Mondays will be the one and only interview with the Rehab. Don't miss out on that. It's going to be dope. I'm super excited. Much love, Magic. You're killing it, bro. Killing it. Thank you to everybody, anybody, all of you who helped support the Cove. Cove-TV is brought to you by viewers like yourself. It means the world. It makes all of this possible. It makes it possible for me to do this every day. If anybody would be interested in being a part of that, it's $10 a month. I'm actually working on the subscriber songs here yesterday, today. Kind of getting that going. But yeah, you get your name in the banner. You get a giveaway tomorrow afternoon. Some exclusive music and art and reels. It's a great, great place, and it helps out a lot. So reach out to anybody from the Cove, and we can help you get stuff with that. With that being said, I hope everybody has an amazing rest of your day. Hope to see everybody chilling in the Cove this afternoon. It will be at 5, not 4. I don't want to mess with the schedule in case I do have to work. And so we'll hang out this afternoon. Guardians of Unity it up. And then tonight at 9 p.m., the one and only totally terrific Twisted Titty Tie-Dye Turkey Taco Toke N Tunes Tuesday. Do not miss out. It's a great, great time. Much love, Amber. Thank you for the morning speaker. We could not do that without your help, and we super duper appreciate it. Much love, Vicki Bowers. Have an amazing, wonderful day. Stay warm, everybody. And it was weird. I didn't do the thank you for the watching the morning show song yesterday because it was you weren't up here. But thank you, everybody, for watching the morning show. Have a safe and blessed and warm rest of your day. I'm trying to find the song. That's up next. Where the fuck did it go? It's gone forever. Give everybody up there. It is.
The morning started with a story to share. Vicki B's history brought us there. From lessons past to hope anew, the morning speaker shared wisdom too. Cove-TV's been your morning delight, bringing good vibes to start the day right. To all who watched and shared their time, you made this morning simply sublime. Simply sublime. Thank you for watching, you make it bright. Cove-TV brings the morning light. From Beanz to Man-Bear, we've shared the groove. With you, the mornings always improve. The mornings always improve. We started the day with coffee in hand, or maybe awake and bake, that's the plan. Your smiles, your laughs, your spirit's so kind. You're the reason Cove mornings shine. From Beanz' beats to Man-Bear's cheer, the vibe we share is always clear. We're grateful for you, our audience so true. Cove mornings wouldn't shine without you. Wouldn't shine without you. Thank you for watching, you make it bright. Cove-TV brings the morning light. From Beanz to Man-Bear, we've shared the groove. With you, the mornings always improve. The mornings always improve. It's more than a show, it's a family we've grown. A place where positivity's always shown. With every sunrise, we'll meet anew. Cove-TV mornings are thanks to you. Thanks to you. watching, you make it bright. Cove-TV brings the morning light. From Beanz to Man-Bear, we've shared the groove. With you, the mornings always improve. The mornings always improve. Thank you for watching. Cold morning shine because of you. Because of you.
Much love, everybody. Catch y'all later. Keep your heads up. Keep your heads up, everybody. It's gonna be a good day. It's Toke N Tunes Tuesday. Let's go.